Hey everyone, Corrie here coming in to do my weekly channeled message. This is being recorded on February the 2nd, 2022. We're in the power of those two numbers. So we are just entering into a new energy, a shift, some more changes. And of course, everything is always shifting and changing. That's how the universe works, right? We're constantly moving. There's nothing that ever has that stillness. But it's that sense of just sometimes we feel like we are still in a world that's moving around us. So that's the energy that I'm picking up today, is this sense of being just like here. Like sometimes just feel like you're just like stagnant and you're just stuck and you're just staying right there and everything else around moves. You see my dogs looking in the window, see those little heads. Sorry, I had to stop and let those dogs in because it's like minus 22 or 23 here. So, but this stagnant energy is just like that, feels like sometimes just feel like you're just like here or you're just coasting and everything else around just seems to be going. And that's kind of what the energy is. It's like there's a lot of moving energy, a lot of shifting, a lot of things that are playing out. And we're really truly at a time where it's as if, I want to say this, it's just like, why do they think we're so dumb? Why do they play the everyday human as so unintelligent or so dumb that we cannot see ultimately what is being put right in our face, and how there is this a la carte of what you choose, like that picking and choosing little bits and pieces, or planting something in to just kind of to cause more fear, to get people to hate on each other more. And I'm like, can we not see through this yet? Can we not see through this? Can we just not stop, pause? If we're already in this pause and everything's moving, can we not just not look around? Like you can move your head, you can move your eyes, everything is, you know, we can look around and assess our situations and look at what is actually a fear-based society that we are being placed in to get people to step beyond that trigger, so that fight flight energy is very alive. So I want to channel through this today, and I want to allow this to unfold, or the message to unfold, and just totally just move all sense of my own reality, because like the rest of you, we all live in this human reality. We all have a human life that's being impacted and affected. And to have deep compassion for everybody, no matter where people are or what side of everything, is that ultimately we all still want the same thing. We want peace. We want that sense of being able to be free. We all want the same desired outcome, but how we go about communicating it is very different. So wrapping everyone in the same love and the same light, and just being present, and just knowing that everyone in their own hearts, minus the people that are intentionally doing this, that are intentionally setting out to, and it's not that I don't send them love as well, but I hope they have some eye-opener moments, or there is something that's going to be exposed that I'm also getting. So I just want to bring in spirit and bring in and channel through the energy of whatever there is, however this is that's unfolding. And I know they're doing this to me more and more recently, and they're forcing me to kind of bring out the weird and wild and wacky of who we are. And so I'm allowing this energy and what needs to be for us, like bringing it home. How do we incorporate this sense of finding peace, contentment within our own lives, to be present in our own lives, to stay connected to right here, and breathing in that light. And so just asking for this energy to come in. And so what I'm getting is a sense that this is the beginning of a new spiritual awareness. Not, this is like what we call an awakening, but this is not just about an awakening. It's a spiritual awareness of the value that we have within ourselves, or our responsibility within ourselves, to hold ourselves up, our chins up, the heads up, and just say to the world, just like, I'm, we're very intelligent people. we're wise. And so there's a sense of wisdom that's coming in. And the wisdom that I'm getting and coming in is that looking at ourselves as we're not beginners. The human race is a beginning race. It just feels like this is like the first kind of go around, even though we've been at it a while, but it's like we're still kind of like in toddler stage. We're still learning how we're learning how to love, because we didn't know love before. We learned control, we learned how to condition, to manipulate, and throughout, from the roles of parents to children, that ultimately has been playing out forever. Our role as parents is to raise children, the best of our ability. So when we didn't have or not we, not me per se, but as a society, if you had a very controlled parenting, or if you had that constantly just trying to manipulate into the way that it's like feeding the subconscious mind everything of what you want the child to be and nothing else, is that kind of energy is where some of our deepest seated healing is going. But it's also saying, like, go easy on ourselves, to really look at ourselves, to look at the aspects of what we knew, how much we knew, but how much wiser we are as a world right now, how much wiser we are as a society. So it feels as if what we're getting is the sense of bringing in, wisdom and healing all in one, like that bringing together that whole sense of, we've been very numbed, we've been very accepting as a world, as society, is like we take things at face value, and now we're truly opening up. So there's a new level of ability to be able to communicate that is coming through, a sense of allowing the conscious. So allowing the consciousness, the awareness of consciousness is what's coming up. So the awareness of consciousness to be able to use discernment in our choices and our decisions, that beyond our human knowledge that we've been conditioned and taught, and the opinions and everything else that's been kind of spoon-fed to us throughout life, it feels as if that sense of the consciousness beyond that wisdom is that we're starting to discover so much more about how wise and the whats of how we became who we were, and how we ended up in a world that has so much hostility and so much judgment and so much anger and so much divide. And how do we return from that? And so we're asking today to provide that light of, how do we find that within ourselves? How do we stop being so judgmental within ourselves? How do we transform and allow this energy to transmute into a more loving way of communicating with self, connecting to self, being present with self, and knowing that that hostile energy that we exist in out there, we absorb it, but we also use it in communicating with ourselves when we feel like we're judging ourselves, or we're being very critical of ourselves. And so the ability to allow the imagination to see yourself as a much healthier form, or this more gentler form that you need to care for. So this compassion, kindness, less judgment, it feels like this is like a repeat story, but this is in the awareness of consciousness, not of anything that we've known before. So anything as kind as you thought you were, it's like you start questioning that kindness. You start to question, it's like, what was the motive, or what's the push behind that kindness? Is it because I got to? And where do I need to start being kinder to myself? And so it's like, when we talk about self-care, it's like, take a hot bath and do this and do that. And it's like, there's so much more to self-care than that energy. And so as I feel myself slipping into channel, and I know they're coming with a more powerful sense of this message, and letting it unfold, but as I'm still trying to bring this in, is that we are here to shine a light upon what it means to really love, what it means to do something in a loving way. And we're going to start to really see that whole sense of, it's so obvious. It's so obvious of how media manipulates, how government manipulates. It's so in our face right now that I think it's hard for us to be able to ignore that it's really a real problem, that, it's larger than life right now. Interesting. So I went into these cards of Lana Fairchild, and they're the Lightworker Oracle. And I got the life path. And this shows that newborn child, rebirth, what was our life path? And we all came with a life path. We all have a life path number. We all come with a destiny. We all have that sense of what that destiny is, but it has to be our truest of self that's guided into that destiny, our truest of self that's living that destiny, our truest of self that's acting out. And so when we don't see ourselves and we look at the shadow, then when we're living from the aspect of who we've been created to be instead of who we've been allowed to be. And there's been that push and pull. And so seeing some of this, like with the truckers in here in Canada, like that was that force, that momentum towards freedom, right? Towards taking something back. And it doesn't matter if you agree or not. It's not about that. What it is that it's that energy of stepping into a call. And as we step forward, we're being asked to, that we're going to be asked to find our truest of self and step forward and to take back what we've placed into the hands so easily of those that can lie to our face and still play us. And I'm like, it keeps coming back, keeps coming back. I'm like, keeps coming back. As much as I keep trying to move away from it, it keeps coming back. So it's like we're being born into a new energy, a new day, a new time, where love, compassion, and kindness becomes the greatest things that we can possibly have. As I'm bringing this in, I am feeling this energy coming in. And this is like the wise ones. So this would be the energy of that wise ones, the wisdoms. I'm seeing the cloaked energy and just being cloaked and knowing that, we all have an aura. We all have a body that's so much bigger than our human body. And beyond that body is that energy field, that aura. And that's like wearing your cloak. And so when you're wearing that cloak, and that cloak even has a hood, it kind of makes us be able to feel like we can close in on ourselves, we can go inward, we can go deeper, and we can close out the rest of the world. It's going to keep moving. There's a lot of things that are unfolding, but what is within, where we need to go right now is to go deep, deep within and travel within and just find the essence of, it's like going to a mine, right? It's like going into that mind and finding those treasures. And if we really truly want to open up the world, if we want to open up that can of worms and we want to look at all of your own moral obligations and all the things you stand for, is that you even so much as have to look at the clothes you're wearing on your back. You have to look at your shoes. You have to look at your mittens. You have to look at the products, the chemicals that you're using in your skincare, and how ethical is all of this. And so if we're questioning and we're looking at ethics, we're going to have to open this up as a world scale energy. If you look at your diamond rings on your fingers, and chances are a lot of those diamonds came from places where children are the ones that are in these mines. And so it's child labor. We have to look at child labor. We have to look at the essence of, in countries and stuff where there's children brides. We turn the blind eye to what we don't want to see. So we're always in the energy of being able to lie to ourselves. And as we move forward and as we step forward, is that if we're opening this up, this is like spiritual surgery upon the world, upon us as a society, not dividing anybody, but as a society, as a race, we need to do better. And we have to do better within ourselves. And we have to be that within ourselves. And to come to that place of when we fall back into old habits and behaviors, we start to neglect the things that we still have to pay attention to. Only when it impacts and affects us are we bothered by it. When it doesn't, we don't. And so that sense of where have you been putting your focus, and how much more do we need to see? So we're seeing a wide open energy, as if the whole world opens up as one big opened up surgery, like got to do massive surgery on the whole world, and just say, you know what, we have to look at this as a world problem and not so much as just an individual problem, but we have to look at it as we're all those little tiny bites, all those little, I want to say like little parasites. We're all that little tiny energy inside of that world, that when we're coming in and we're dissecting and we're picking through, is to now become an observer of of our own actions, of our own behaviors, of who, of how we're reacting, how we're responding, how we're so quick to jump in and, destroy somebody's life, to cancel somebody, to attack somebody, to just, wanting that sense of revenge or wanting somebody to pay. And but in the same breath, we do that in that sense of standing on that soapbox about how great we are and how good we are. But in the same breath, we're ignoring some of these other things of like, well, okay, but have you looked at where your clothes came from? Have you checked some of these big wealthy millionaires factories and see where they're getting things made and how much is costing to get it made? So bring that into ourselves as, okay, so you want somebody else to be responsible. You're blaming somebody else, but are you looking at your own behavior? Are you looking at how you may have treated somebody? Are you looking at how you may have picked somebody apart so much that you left them with no confidence? Are you looking at those things? Have you picked your own self apart so bad that you don't believe in you anymore? And so this is us being able to transform this energy, to step up, to be able to step back and look into our life path, look into the direction we were all put here to on a life path journey of awakening, awareness, growing, evolving, to teach, to be healers, to be, we were put here to be guides. We were put here to inspire each other, to be that energy, to support each other, not to rip each other apart. And so the master healing energy is the other card that came in with this. And it is that power of so this is that power of light. And healers, what we do is that we don't heal people. We allow that light to flow through us. And then we open ourselves up to be a vessel. And when we open ourselves up to be a vessel, it also brings in healing within our own bodies. And it allows us to receive. It doesn't mean we became unhuman. It means that we are getting the same healing and we gain new wisdom and allowing it to just flow through and out into where it needs to go. So I feel like the master healing energy and what I'm picking up is the essence of those beautiful, divine, angelic realms, this seraphim bay energy. Gabriel, Jesus energy, that Jesus energy, that healer who would have walked up on earth, stepping in. And I'm seeing it in a very masculine kind of energy right now, because I got the power of the divine masculine coming in. I have that Archangel Michael energy. I have that sense of just this powerful, and all can be masculine or feminine, but in this very spirit of this moment is bringing in that sense of Metatron and Sandaloff, and I just feel this energy of the council and the wise ones stepping in around us to be able to bring together this energy for that we can step into being like a new human, a new form, instead of, they're all out there creating these robotic things to kind of be greater than the human. But why if we are unlimited as a human and we have unlimited potential that we can start to tap into, why are we allowing ourselves to believe that we are being dumbed down? And why are we accepting that we don't have the ability to open our minds to see everything in a big picture, to see things bigger, and to start to be able to just fall into this place of saying, if I can see myself beyond my physical body, beyond this, there's this cloaked energy. If I open up that cloak, if I open myself up, if I let myself come out of this protection that I keep putting myself into and hiding and letting fear control me, what more is possible? I am greater than my illnesses. I am greater than all the problems. I'm greater than the pain in my body. I'm so much more than all of those things. And my mind, even if I got D's in school, I am greater than the D's I got in school, because that was an in the box study. Everything that places us in a box is here to suppress us. It is here to bring us, to make us all kind of one, to all think alike. But then they bring in the robotic energy that's like ever expanding. Well, we have that capability to expand. Have you ever not watched somebody get in shape? Have you ever watched a scrawny little person get like big, massive muscles? Because they know that those muscles can expand. The body can get much bigger. The body can become much more muscular. There's this thing called believing. And we have to start believing in ourselves and having that faith within ourselves to be of service to each other. If we take the focus off our own miseries and want to lay blame, and we be of service to each other, and we be kind to each other, it's amazing what will unfold and how we will see the world in such a we will see the shifts. We will see humanity be able to evolve and to grow. And this is us, seeing ourselves in DNA healing, healing through the structure of us growing. I just see expansion, and that we are becoming, as we are, as above, down below, we have so much more greatness. We have so much more potential, and Mother Earth has so much more than what they're telling us that she has. Her natural resources are somehow replenishing themselves as well. When we open up, when we do this work, it feels like there's just something that is changing. And I feel like it's like some of the biggest unfoldings we're going to see is the fact that we're going to be the master healers. We're opening our human minds. We are connecting. We're allowing the spirit within us to connect to the spirit that is out there. And we're opening up, and we're just saying, guide me, teach me, allow me to be more of what I need to be in this world, to bring that forth, to bring that energy forth, to be that change and to expand, because the children are watching, and we're here to bring in that next generation, but we're also here to, give birth to a new life within ourselves, that we are so much greater than those greatest fear stories. And so as we move forward and as we see this, I see this powerful Jesus energy. And as I'm seeing this energy, and don't get triggered by this word or by the fact of who and what he is, because he was a nomad, right? He didn't belong in no church. He was out walking his streets, doing his thing. And whatever that story resonates with, wherever that comes, for me, it's a relationship with spirit. It is a relationship with this healer that tells us each and every day that you have this light within you, that you have the power, that you have the ability to crucify yourself, to crucify others. And would you rather be that person would you rather be the person on the cross, or the one that puts people on the cross? And that energy, that truth that comes up of this. And it's like, the more we assume, or the more we allow ourselves to tell ourselves lies, the more willing we're going to be to accept them. Because we can create any story in our mind that we want to, and we can make everything fit, right? And make all those moving pieces fit. Well, most of those moving pieces are not supposed to fit. Most of those moving pieces are supposed to be going. So as you're moving forward, what I'm being told by this energy said, the greatest gift that Jesus energy is saying is to be an observer. The greatest thing to be able to come in and be able to help you heal is to observe where and what needs the healing. And this is a world healing, and something that is greater, and it's beyond this is now beyond us. It's beyond the ability of us as humans. It is beyond the ability, because when man starts to play God, then we need something greater than the man who's trying to play God. And there's something of a greater energy. And I see the big wings, and I see the council, and it's like something that is greater, that's just coming in, who's saying everything that destruction or that energy that was trying to take is no longer going to be able to do this. There's an ending, and there is, there's truth coming out and revealing those secrets. I have the stargazer Freda coming out, and she is all about, she's the sense of this goddess energy of self, like, and so she really represents that light, that passion, the pleasure, the purpose, and she's holding all of that within her. We all hold that, cat's coming across, we all hold that within us to be able to have, and yes, there's writing, because it's my cards and it's in beta testing, so I'm always changing the cards. And so this card now, and where it is it's in passion, pleasure, and prosperity, and that sense of just being able to see that it's within us. We have it within our hands. And when we speak those words, prosperity doesn't just mean money. It means richer lands, richer in our minds, richer in our hearts. And that means also then pleasure. How do we bring pleasure in? If you ever read like Think and Get Rich, one of the greatest principles we talk about is pleasure, is the ability to think in that pleasure way, and to be able to see that pleasure come in. And with that card also then brings in, this whole turquoisey, beautiful energy that's behind here. and this angelic realm. And so behind us is guardians, behind us is the angel, behind us is the ultimate level of support. And we are being supported right now. We're being guided right now. We have so much of this beautiful energy that's working on our behalf. And then we have the medicine woman, and her name is Marie. And both of these kind of come from that ability to allow ourselves to see through, each belief belief system. And so when these two cards actually came, it was from two voodoo goddesses who we were actually, that actually started to channel through within these cards, and to not to fear what we don't know, not to fear what we don't know. And so just like I would say human race is like this ant colony. There's more that are working underground and working magic in different ways than what you see in the public figure or in that energy. And there's magic being worked. There's these like that medicine woman's like, she's rooted, she's grounded in that ancestral stories. And she just knows, like, she's coming from the root. She's coming from Mother Earth. She's connected to Mother Earth. She's not afraid of the dark. She's not afraid to go into the dark. She knows, because she knows how powerful her light is. She knows how true, she knows who she is. And that's what she's telling us. And that's the energy that we're getting from all of this wise ones, from all the councils. We should know who we are to a point that we are not afraid to go into the darkness, to be the light, and to know who we are, to know our light, to know our truth, to know that we know that truth, that we can walk in and we can face our greatest fears and just say, no, light and love is more powerful than anything. So the stargazer Frida is, she's on top of the world. She's sitting up here. She's all light. She's all spirit. She knows what it takes for this healing to take place. So she's able to talk to the stars, gaze into the stars. It's like watching the existence of the stars. They look like they're so far away. They look like they're so tiny, but they're so much bigger. That's us. That's the human race right now. That's what we have to start to remember. That's what we have to start to awaken within ourselves, is that we are greater in numbers by together, and by us being able to, before we pass judgment and talk about how great of a human we are and how we're going to cancel somebody else, you need to look at all aspects of our lives. You need to look at all sides and look at the contributing factors before. And I bet you we're willing to be a lot less judgmental, a lot less willing to come on the attack or resent or anything else of another. So this is about us being the best human that we can be. This is about us bringing it home to in here. This is about us sitting still and watching all the moving pieces, and just start to observe, not just one thing that you believe, but observe everything. Look at the world as a whole. And when we can look at the world as a whole, we also got the courage to look at ourselves as a whole, look at the full 360 view, and then start to come from our high heart, from our healthy sense of self that connects to our God will, and knowing that we all have a free will to our choices. So if we have a free will to our choices, then why do we cross over into the fear story, and why do we not return to faith? We have to start believing in us. We have to start being us, and we have to start first finding out who exactly you are as a human, as the person you are today, and start to really, truly come into a place and start believing in the magic, start believing in the healing, because there is amazing healing. There's amazing wisdom, angels, angelic realm, spirit realm that is here to work on our behalf, because this is now beyond us. And this is now in the hands of the God consciousness. This is in the hands of this beautiful energy that's just coming in. It's like forceful, soft, powerful, gentle, loving, caring. That's just saying we care enough to want to clean this up. So cleaning up your own stories, cleaning up your own energy, cleaning up your own heart, cleanse, clear, heal, resolve. And then also knowing that this is our hope and our wish and our dream for the world, is that we can clean it up, clean up the attitudes, clean up all of what's happening, so that we can watch. Those that should be great leaders need to be emotionally, spiritually mature. They need to be wise in their choices and decisions, and not to be quick to just jump into supporting that mass media numbers, stories, and truly being able to open up and expand our minds, our hearts. Remember, We have the ability to be so much more than we believe we are. And we have the ability to be greater than our fears. Time for us to start walking forward. Much love. Have a beautiful week, and embrace you. Give as much kindness, care, give as much love and care as you can into truly being sure to become the best human beings that we can be. Much love. Bye-bye.